Hi, folks. Gary here, and hope you're having a great summer. Just went by just so quickly, didn't it? Let's take a look at North Vancouver real estate for the month of August. Okay, here we have sales. Looking at detached, there were 42 sales. That was 2.3% below the same month last year, but about 33% lower than the 10-year average and 42% lower than the previous month of July. Looking at apartments, we had 68. That was 10.5% below year over year and 26% below the 10-year average, with about 6% fewer sales than in July. And then with townhouses, there were 23. So that's about 28% lower than year over or above year over year, pardon me, and 18% below the 10-year seasonal average, and about 39% fewer than month over month. Okay, so looking at new listings with detached, there were 100. That was about 25% more than a year ago. Over to apartments, there were 143 new listings, about 2.1% fewer than year over year. And townhouses, 24, and about 22% above year over year. But the interesting thing is here for new listings, all three categories were at or above the 10-year average, but lower than the month over month. So lower than the month of July, 51% for detached, 38% for apartments, and 41% fewer for townhouses. Okay, let's see how the total listing inventory was affected then. With the fewer listings that we saw over July, we can see that in all three categories, the number of listings is going down. Although if you're looking at historically, the numbers are still quite high. With apartments, that's 23% above year over year and about 31% above the 10-year seasonal average. With detached, 23% above year over year and 18% above the 10-year seasonal average. And then with townhouses, that would be 8% above year over year and 31% above the 10-year average. All right, so let's see how the supply and demand factors have affected price. First of all, with detached, the benchmark price was 2.175. That's a 4.2% decrease year over year and about 2.3% decrease in the last 6 months. With townhouses, the benchmark price was 1.287 million, about 3.1% decrease year over year and 2.8% decrease in the last 6 months. And with apartments, we had a 1% decrease year over year and 2.2% decrease in the last 6 months. Okay, so there you have it. Continuing slow market, although I gotta say that I really see that we could be looking at a much better improved fall. And the reason that I say that is that as we go forward, this message of a slow market becomes clear, and owners that want to relocate are finding that they've got to come on at a realistic price that will cause their property to sell, or else simply wait and don't put it on. And then as we go forward with that extra time, there becomes a pent-up demand of owners who do have to sell, and they have to become realistic with price. So I really feel that that is going to cause the market to really accelerate in the fall. Anyway, time will tell. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next month.